Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp. Oh, it's all coming out of the woodwork now. Is Amber the abuser? Is Johnny the torturer? So the first video that I done on this was about Amber Heard. And to keep it fair and balanced, this video is going to be about Johnny Depp. And we're going to be looking at why this. This.
When he's huge. When he's huge.
And this. Could be all you need to know from a body language perspective that Johnny is not as innocent as a lot of people may want to believe. And just a quick heads up, the video quality that I managed to find on Johnny Depp's deposition isn't that great, but if you concentrate you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. So welcome back to the Believe in Bruce channel, the body language guy. If you're interested in the art of lying, how to make sure that nobody ever lies to you again, to make sure that you've always got your partner on the straight and narrow and they can never lie to you again, or anything to do with the head and heart, take 2 seconds just to subscribe below. We've broken the 100,000 subscribers within 10 months. My daughters are so proud of me, thank you very much. But actually, as all young children, I went back and I said, hey, we've broke the 100,000 within 10 months. That's an awesome, awesome achievement. And my 5-year-old daughter straight away says, well, can you get 150? So if you're new to this channel and you are interested in the art of lying, body language, or anything to do with the head and heart, then take 2 seconds just to subscribe below. It would be brilliant to get more towards that 150,000 now. And also I'll be having a live show for all subscribers and also people follow me on Instagram, which is Believe in Bruce 360. So you can connect with me on Instagram, ask me any questions about body language, anything you want to know about any of the topics that I've covered in the previous 10 months. And I'm going to be doing a live show just to say thank you very much to everyone who supported me. But like 100,000 people in 10 months, that is fantastic. And that's where it comes in with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Yeah, so the last video done on Amber Heard, and what I'm about to say here could be evocative. You might be in the Johnny Depp camp, and that's absolutely fine. What I'm saying here is about Johnny Depp. That does not take away anything from the video that I done on Amber Heard on the previous one. Everything I said there was valid. Everything that I could give was evidence-backed. You know, from that video that I analysed, every single thing that I said was backed up by visual or auditorial examples of what she did or didn't do at that particular time. And it's the same thing here with Johnny Depp. Now, Johnny Depp seems to have a real big fan club, etc., and he seems like a really nice guy, okay? But actually, let's put our biases to the side, because what I'm only going to do, to be fair and balanced, is comment on some of the things that Johnny does or doesn't do, says or doesn't say within his video. And what I'm picking up on here might just blow public opinion, boom, truly out of the water. And again, let's not be surprised here, okay? So whether you're in Camp Amber, whether you're in Camp Johnny, something like this, generically, and again, I'm going to put a generical sort of overview on this. There's never smoke without fire. Generally, don't be surprised if the two parties are contributing to this volatile type environment. Because some people might be in Camp Johnny Depp and they bring a lot of bias to anything that goes against Johnny. Remember to be down the line, to be fair and balanced. Real body language experts, to be fair, which there is very few on YouTube. We try not to make it what we want it to be. We should only comment on what it is. Alright, so the first example here of Johnny's body language is actually, there's 3 examples in this short video. What I've called the perverted pleasure smile. Alright, and what we've got here is the first example of it. And Johnny is explaining the injury to his finger that he sustained allegedly from Amber Heard throwing a vodka bottle or something along those lines. Now what's missing here, okay, what's missing is that when Johnny looks down and he's talking about a mutilation, that's what it is. Yeah, his end of his finger's been mutilated. It's been severed. All the other words that he uses throughout the video. He looks down and there's this slight grin. There's like that what I call the perverted pleasure smile, and I'll explain the science behind that in a second. But you'll see him grin, alright? And the key with the grin is that there is no shake of the head. There is no shake of the head. So when he's explaining about what happened and he looks down, he's looking at his finger, and then you see him grin. It's not a grin that's accompanied by a shake of the head, which generally means, again, on a universal type basis. Now, Johnny's idiosyncratic, as in personal value behaviours, may be different, but as a universal generic rule, when you're recalling something like this and you can't believe it, or it escapes you why it's occurred, you'll find yourself sort of smiling but shaking your head. Oh, God, I just don't get that. Like, why did that happen? I don't understand it. You don't get that here. What you get is just staring down at the ground in what we call the dominance position. But that grin comes up when he's talking about his own mutilation. Have a look at it.
Because basically I had a pretty nasty injury.
Now again, biology doesn't lie. I'm talking about the hippocampus here, the emotional recall center of the brain, yeah, where emotional memories are stored, or part of that system. Because when Johnny's talking about and looking down, there's a smile. Now smiles don't come generally out of frustration. There's some type of reward there. We're looking at the mesolimbic pathway, the dopamine system, that produces smiles. So when Johnny's talking about this finger being severed, and there's that look down, and then there's that little grin, but there's no shake of the head, there's no pacifying behaviours that actually are attached to that movement, Johnny's getting pleasure from that memory. The smile, again, biology doesn't lie. Yeah, there's no pacifying negative associated behaviours like shaking the head. It is a grin. And he does this another 2 times of the video, which backs up my observation. Because that grin is associated with dopamine. That dopamine is associated with pleasure. So something out of that, at that particular moment when Johnny's recalling that specific event at that particular time, Johnny's getting pleasure from that. Biology doesn't lie. What pleasure is Johnny getting out of it? Does Johnny like creating those situations? Which is why even when he's talking about the mutilation of his own finger, he's smiling. And then straight after that, we've got what you call a behavioural cluster, where Johnny's throat starts to tighten up and he doesn't know the words that he wants to explain, that he wants to offer, that he wants to narrate to the person who is doing the interview for him.
Because basically I had a pretty nasty injury. That I actually,
Now again, this could mean nothing, it could mean everything. And it's down to the interview question technique, the questions that the interview asks. This is where a lot of the time when there is really good KPI body language evidence that they haven't noticed and or they don't ask the right question, to dig that little bit deeper to get to the truth. But when you've got a behavioural cluster like the perverted pleasure smile, again, something really harmful has happened and he's smiling at that with no negative pacifying behaviours attached to it. And then his throat starts to tighten, or he starts to be less able to get his words out. That's when Believer and Bruce would like to dig that little bit deeper. What was going on at that particular time? What was going on in Johnny's head at that particular time? So here we've got 2 examples of the perverted pleasure smile in quite short space. So again, there's no negative pacifying associated behaviours. There's no shake of the head. There's no hands up or palms up. Can you believe this? It's like, hey, I know she's crazy. Nothing like that. He's explaining about the punch in the wall, etc. But you'll see him smile twice. Once at the start and once at the end.
she smashed. She threw a vodka bottle at me. And my hand was...
And again, he's looking down that dominance position where he's feeling pleasure, where his hippocampus is recalling that positive emotion. This is what it is. It's a positive emotion because the smile's there. And because the smile's not associated or accompanied by a shake of the head, that's a dopamine hit. You see, those behaviours, there is no shake of the head. There is no scratch of an irritation. There is no self-soothe as in, hey, it's going to be okay. Nothing of what you would actually expect when someone loses their finger in a mutilation for an accident from somebody throwing a vodka bottle. Nothing at all. Just pure pleasure. Biology doesn't lie. So this is where, for me, I'm starting to think, okay. And again, it's an assumption that, it's a reality that's actually probably more commonplace or more expected than a lot of people are saying. Maybe it's the 2 of them have been pouring petrol onto the fire. One's the stick of dynamite, one's the lighter. What I am saying here is the evidence so far, it's not all Amber Heard's fault. That's factual, that's fair, and that's balanced. And the reason why I say that, he actually exhibits some of these behaviours that I've said have been lacking in his next video here, or sorry, the next part of the video. So when he's on about him punching a wall, or Amber said it's a certain type of wall, you see him sort of laugh and shake his head at the same time, as if like, you know, can you believe she says that? She's got no idea what you're talking about.
by punching a wall.
Just another way to hurt you.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
So I know that when he feels that sign, when he feels that emotion and energy, he does exhibit the behaviours that I just said weren't present, and he's passed 3 examples of the perverted pleasure smile. And then the last one, oh, I would love to dig in that little bit deeper here. Love to dig in that little bit deeper. Remember, I'm trying to uncover the truth. I'm not trying to apportion blame on one camp or other. And when it comes to the truth, exactly as I said in the last video, there's always 3 sides to the truth. There'll be, in this case, there'll be Amber Heard's truth. There'll be Johnny Depp's truth, and then there'll actually be the truth. And the last one that we see here is when Johnny's talking about, he actually starts to say scientist, because he's talking about the structure of the wall or the material buildup of the wall, and he's obviously got a perspective, a narrative going on that he needs to basically justify the point that Amber Heard cannot be right because the wall is a bit like O.J. Simpson and the glove. Alright, something to do with the wall is just totally wrong, and it couldn't have been what Amber Heard has offered, what she's been saying in court. But then what's really interesting is, you see, Johnny, remember we're looking at emotional baselines. That's a real KPI for trying to figure out someone's body language. What is their trait? What do they do most of the time in any situation? And then anything they do more of or less of, boom, we're on it. Why have they done it that particular time? And what we see here in this video is Johnny Depp has never brushed his hair back. And also, he's been quite calm, he's been methodical, his hands have generally been in front of him. But when he starts speaking about the physicians need to look into this, about what happened to my hand and that couldn't happen to that wall, you'll see he dips his head and then he pushes his hair back. Now the push, there's 2 things that's going on there. One is a self-soothe, it's hey, it's okay, come on, you can say this. But the other is making himself presentable. But actually Johnny's there in a suit and tie. So generally on actions, and I'm not saying this is the case here because they haven't asked the right questions to figure it out, to allow us to go that little bit deeper, it tends to indicate that they're trying to make what they're saying more presentable. And then if you're accompanied by the next thing that Johnny Depp does, again, he's never done it before and he never does it after. He actually brings his hand up here and he rubs his lip with his finger. Now this is an indicator of another self-soothe. Generally it's connected to what I'm about to say I don't truly believe in, but I'm going to give myself that little self-comfort, that little rub to just get it out. But that's why his finger goes there. Have a look.
I mean, and physicians who are familiar with kind of, this sort of trauma, this sort of thing, because I'd love to see her explain how someone hits a wall.
Remember, he hasn't done anything like this previous to this, and he doesn't do anything after this. Why is Johnny self-soothing? Why is he feeling that he has to tell himself it's okay to give out that answer? So for me, looking at the 2 of them here, and again I'm going to ask you questions and I'd like to comment below. When you've got Amber Heard, there's definite gaps in her story, 100%, just like I said in the previous video. But now I've done a fair and factual and balanced assessment on what Johnny says. There's definitely something about his dopamine centre, the perverted pleasure smile, that I would like to dig that little bit deeper, to ask better questions, just so we're more likely to get to the truth. I'm not saying Amber Heard at all hasn't played her part in this. Her video says, yes I have. There is loads of stuff that I've pointed out in my previous video that she needs to be, at least, let's say, we need to ask better questions of Amber Heard. But also, it's fair and balanced to also say that we need to ask Johnny Depp better questions about some of the behavioural observations that he's given off. For me personally, as I'm sitting here now, I'm looking at, okay, I think both of them, which again, it'll be a logical explanation. Very rarely, although it does happen, it absolutely happens, where it's just one person. But in something like this, where you've got 2 characters who have, let's be fair, been thrust into that fame society where they've probably been adored and adulated in their mesolimbic pathway and everything like this is, you know, the dopamine centers. You've got two real egos here who are big in Hollywood, etc., who seem to be clashing. I would expect that. They operate in the same area, they're very successful, they've got the same traits, they've got the same characteristics. That's why they do roughly the same job. For me, after watching Johnny's video, it's sort of just even the keel a little bit where we should be asking them both some more specific questions to help us all uncover the truth. Remember to subscribe below, take 2 seconds now. If you've enjoyed my scientific analysis, and remember, I'm not saying one of them's a lie and one of them's not. What I'm saying is on these body observations here, we must dig a little bit deeper because the psychology behind it says that we must. That's why they are giving off the signals that I've commented upon. And you can also catch me at Believe in Bruce 360. Again, that's where we're going to be doing the live stream. Please follow me there. And also, if you've got any examples of current trending celebrities, sports stars, whatever it may be, that you would like an honest appraisal, a fair and balanced appraisal of the body language to help you uncover the truth and dig that little bit deeper, Believe in Bruce 360 on Instagram is the place to leave your suggestions and comments. So again, no copyright on this channel. Please share the video, tag the video, do whatever you want with this video. But more important than any of this, believe in Bruce. Remember to be kind to yourselves and each other.